Neki with their brand new song Rip Off. That's what we're reacting to today. And I'm really excited about this. But first of all, I just wanted to sort of put my cards on the table and say, well, I mean, if you've been watching this channel or not, you probably know I'm a bit of a Neki fan. I have really found myself just being more excited about this band than most other bands, and that's not really sort of like saying anything about, comparisons. It's just, sometimes there are some bands who just have a sound that really appeals to you as a person, and Neki has been one of those bands where almost everything they've delivered so far in their admittedly short career has really just ticked so many boxes for me. Yes, I have favorite songs. Yes, I have songs that are maybe lower in my Neki standings, but there's just like nothing they've delivered so far that I haven't enjoyed, and that's why this is one of the few bands where I will actually do a reaction to the audio before there's a music video or anything. I don't know if there's a music video coming out for this, but all I know is that I am definitely giving this a reaction because I'm just excited. I want to listen to it, and so I might as well share this moment with you. Now, the thing is that when it comes to Neki, I mean, as I say, I try to obviously say which are my favorites and which ones are the ones that I always try to give honest opinions about everything. But when it comes to Neki's sound, as I say, there's something about what they do where, okay, at first you could just say, okay, this is the kind of music that I like, so as a result, I'm just going to like everything they do. But, well, I'm always trying to be an honest reviewer. So when you think about bands like Hanabiya, which is a very different band, that's something where maybe a lot of the things they do music-wise, like the screaming and that kind of style of metal, maybe doesn't appeal to me so much. And yet I love them because of the fact that I really enjoy the way they go about their songwriting. I enjoy their whole ethos, the sort of colourful way that they mix so many different genres together. And so the same thing happens when it comes to Neki. Yes, they do a sound that naturally appeals to me, but this is not to say that I just would therefore dumbly sit back and say, well, hey, I like this particular style of, pop rock, and therefore I'm just going to like everything. So no, Neki do actually add more to their music than just that simply engaging, enthusiastic tone and the wonderful range of song styles they do actually have. They also add a real sense of musicianship and, well, I'd say honesty to their sound. They're not afraid to play around with slightly interesting concepts to their songs, but at the heart of it, there's always really great musicianship. I've seen them live a few times. I wish I had the funds to see them live more. I wish I was going to this Zepp Shinjuku show. I really want to. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to put this one in, but I would love to. But this is just a band who, every time I've seen them live, it's raw, it's honest, it's great, and yet it still has that fun pop value that makes it kind of joyous music. It's not just sort of a display of, hey, look how good they are at twiddling their instruments. It's a real genuine sense of, I can sing along to these songs, I can bounce along to these songs. You can stand there and appreciate their musicianship, but at the same time, you can also just sort of lose yourself in having fun with it. And that to me is a band who are kind of succeeding in every single way that you can, for the target audience, which I would consider myself to be for Neki's music. They're doing music that makes me damn happy. And for musicianship fans, just people who just like the artistry of good bands, I feel like Neki are delivering on that side as well. So, there you go. That is my big hype up, because I've been talking about Neki for so long now. I've done reviews. I always react to their songs even before the music videos come out and all this kind of thing. And so I thought it'd be worth, just before we jump into this one, just talking a little bit about that, just sort of laying my cards on the table a bit about this. And this, of course, puts us in an interestingly awkward situation, because now if I don't like this song, it's going to be really hard to go, well, this is the first one. No, but okay, look. I'm really excited about this. Again, we got a cool, punchy title. We got another one of these covers that has this slightly, almost, a lot of their other covers have had that kind of ransom note style, like with OOAK. Absolutely love OOAK. Love the fact they filmed the video on Jogashima. They've had the slightly pop art style of the previous covers. Now we've got this slightly graffiti look. I love how they always kind of got a slightly punkish vibe to their cover artwork, and it's always colourful as well, which is such a pleasure. I guess I shouldn't go on about this again, but I did rant at the time quite a lot about how excited I was when I came out of that. I had met them at a signature signing thing before. I got a signed T-shirt off of them, which I never wear because it's signed, and I don't want to get my horrible body odor on it. But I did meet them outside the band-maid show in Toyosu Pit as well, which was, I remember being super excited about that. I am a big fan. Okay, let's stop talking about my fandom and shall we get into actually listening to the song now? All right, this is Rip Off, the brand new single from Neki. I'm going to be as honest as I can, but as always, I'm just super excited to listen to this. Let's jump in. Brand new Neki, Rip Off. I love that Candid bass. Ooh. That was interesting rhythmically. Oh, this is intense. I love how they change up the rhythm of the vocals. Okay, pay it off in the chorus. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, I love the bit when the guitar goes up with the vocal melody there at the end of the chorus. Oh, that offbeat snare. Okay, Kokoro's having fun on this. I love that descending chord pattern. Makes it sound a bit sinister before we punch in the chorus. Oh yeah, this is catchy as well. Alright, bridge time. Bridge can make or break a song. Let's do it. Okay. Break down back to the intro. We've got to ramp things up, really push it into the last chorus. Straight in with the intensity. It's so nicely signposted how each change happens. Oh, double time. Yeah, Kokoro has so much fun with these songs. That is a very short last chorus. You know what? Every time I hear one of those super short last choruses, I think about this like it reminds me of like a Harlequin by After School, when you got a really good chorus and you make the last chorus super short. What you're saying is we really want you to go back and re-listen to this immediately, because that's exactly how I feel after listening to that last chorus. Okay, this is not what I expected. I'm going to be honest, cover art always gives you a bit of a feeling. I was looking at this, I was looking at the pink, I was looking at the slightly graffiti feeling. I don't know, in my head, I was thinking, are we going to go to slightly pop punk, skater punk direction, which is not too far outside of what Neki would arguably be comfortable doing. This went into a much heavier direction. Now, the interesting thing is that I've always said I'm a little bit cautious when it comes to, I think most bands, when they have a large overseas audience, tend to lean a bit towards the heavy because, you know, overseas audiences tend to prefer that. And especially with Neki having a lot of funds coming over from band-maid especially, I've always been a little bit cautious when there's a heavy Neki song of, okay, just it's okay. This for me though, this actually feels much more like the marriage of like heavy and Neki's core writing ethos feels much better represented in this than, say, in a song like, well, to be honest, in a song like Marze and Zero Sum, which are great songs, but for me, they feel like they're cool, but they don't necessarily. This feels like it's got that slightly heavy, technical feeling, but it feels like it much more marries it with the Neki sound. And what do I mean by that? I mean that this song has this kind of thing where it's really good at paying off all the development. The song is changing all the time. I mean, it comes in with that it's really interesting the way it comes in. First with the bass and you're kind of settled in. And then suddenly all the rest of the guitars and everything just are added with this real intensity. It feels very heavy when it comes in from that bass section. So you start off very much with the all on the toms on the drums. It's very rhythmic. And then even that wah-wah guitar, I mean, yeah, that's a sound that you kind of, it feels very intense. But then from there, immediately we get into that verse, and that verse is kind of stripped back again. So Hika's voice comes in, but it's very rhythmic. And this is what's kind of interesting. This song has a lot of technical things going on, especially in the rhythm side, I'd say. Oh, and you got that little pause there. And, you know, a lot of this, I think, is down to the fact that Kokoro is... I mean, we all kind of know Kanade's an amazing bassist. I think they very much put that front and center because she's got her own kind of... Kanade's got a little bit of independent fame for the fact that she did all that stuff on YouTube, and a lot of people are very familiar with her talent. But I think that Kokoro is often a under-celebrated talent in this band. I think she's got a very strong ability to really the way she works around what Candid and the rest of the band are doing is incredible. And just the rhythms in this song are intense, really good. Those sort of offbeat snares, the little delayed beats, all this kind of stuff, the double time in the last chorus. I just feel like Kokoro is having fun on this song, and you really feel that coming across. And it's that kind of fun where she's enjoying just sort of like putting in all these really cool ideas, these really cool, like I say, little skipped beats and these little changes in the rhythm that just, they feel so good, and they really, really drive the song along. So between Kokoro and Kanade's work, you've got like just a fantastically layered rhythm section here. And then what happens with the rest of the song? Well, the rest of the song, again, it's got that Neki value, and this is kind of what I like about it. The Neki quality that, despite all of the technical things underneath it, it manages to deliver a top layer, which is an inviting, exciting, easy to follow rock song. You know, the melody is great. Hika's voice, I love Hika's voice. I think she's... I think, like, to be honest, I would probably use the word underrated or underestimated for most of what Neki do. But, yeah, I think she's a superb voice for a lead singer. And the way that she sort of flips up the rhythm when we get into the pre-chorus and she starts going a little bit quicker and, moving it into a faster kind of tempo. And then we get that big chorus, which, again... super catchy. I mean, I was finding myself by the second chorus or the third chorus I was finding myself wanting to sing along. I was starting to get the lyrics caught in my head and everything. Really love that. And then, I have to say, just the lead guitar work in Neki's music, that's really on point with this. Just the fact that, again, I feel like with a lot of the musicianship that happens in Neki's music, it's impressive if you're listening for it, but there's a subtlety to it. Like the lead guitar work here, there's no like big complicated bits, but just kind of the counterplay between the two guitars gives this song a sort of a sense of thickness, which is really great. So when you listen to it, it sounds big. So you've got all the rhythms really interesting, and you've got this big sound that is coming from having the two guitars wonderfully sort of playing off each other and working around that central melody. And that particularly shows, of course, when we come into the bridge. The bridge is just kind of like a simple build-up for the best part. We get a breakdown back to that bass intro, and then everything sort of slams back in. And it just kind of like, it's really good for resetting, calming you down, and then hitting you with that big return of the energy of like all the guitars coming in, getting you want to sort of pump your fist, and then blasting you into the last chorus, which does start with a brief breakdown, because that is one of the most popular techniques in J-rock. A little breakdown at the beginning of the last chorus. We all know that. But still, they do it. It works. And then we go blasting out on a double time chorus. Kokoro going double time. I mean, this is full of really cool ideas. And it's interesting because I had a discussion with Neon Reaper from Neon Reaper Reacts, who was staying here with me for most of last month, and we did some reactions together. And we were talking about the use of the word technical. And I often feel that when people talk about the word technical, when they use that adjective, they're specifically talking about, technical playing or technical musicianship. I think sometimes a song can be technical just in using interesting writing techniques that might not necessarily be hard to play, but are just really clever, having these right changes in the rhythm, these right changes in how the guitars and the bass and the drums and the various aspects of the music interact with each other, having the right lead up to a chorus, sort of right breakdowns in the right place, the right way of playing with your emotions, and sort of giving little changes in the chord pattern that maybe sort of make you feel like the song's going emotionally in one way and then it turns in a different way. There's this tension as the chords are going down and then they're going and then they're down and then we go bursting into the chorus. Things like this. There's a lot of things that could be described as technical beyond musicianship. And I feel that Neki, they certainly deserve a lot of credit for their musicianship, but I would also give them a huge amount of credit for just the songs that they create are really interesting. They feel effortless. They feel like something you could play to someone who's not big into, the technical side of music, who just wants to sort of listen to a good song. You could play most of Neki songs to a pretty casual listener. They'd probably enjoy it. But for someone who's really into songwriting and for people who are really into musicianship, I feel like there's a lot to get your ears into as well. So this for me was absolutely superb. Rip off. Really enjoyed this. I have to think about where this sits in my overall catalogue of Neki songs. It's definitely one of their best just straight out rock songs. Maybe if we were looking at the heavier side of Neki, this might well be a fair contender for the best of their heavy songs. But again, all their songs are on such an interesting scale. They mix so many things together. I certainly enjoyed this. I have to give it a few more listens to really come to a full final opinion on where I rank it. But I really enjoyed this and I'm definitely looking forward to listening to it again. So anyway, as always, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you in Japan very soon for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.